dressed to impress, ladies and gentlemen. Red and black is his logo and his form, and he is fired up to be with us. It's amazing watching his old videos, speaking to 60 and 80,000 people, literally the Georgia Dome and sold out NFL stadiums, and he's here with us. What an amazing treat. Please put your hands together and give a warm welcome for Les Brown.
Hello, thank you. Thank you so much. You may be seated. Thank you. I am so excited to spend a few moments with you. Let's give Daniel a tremendous round of applause. Come on, you can do better than that. And all of the other presenters, please give them a round of applause. Let them know how much you appreciate them. I'm so excited about speaking to you. My brother is here, my twin brother, Wesley. He served 2 terms in Vietnam and the Persian Gulf. And so we haven't been together since we were 20 years of age. He went off to Vietnam, and our lives went in 2 different directions. I'm going to share with you the story. But he's in the wheelchair, and he's not going to be in there long. My brother, a month ago, his wife of 50 years and 6 months, we celebrated her homegoing. And so I said, Wesley, we're going to be together and finish life together. So he is a 24-year Army veteran, Purple Heart. Give him a round of applause. Stand up, Wesley. You can stand up, Wesley. Help him with his business trust. Thank you. So it's, you know, this thing called life, it's very fascinating and very interesting. And this is a time, is a different place where we are. How many of you agree that things have changed? Raise your hands, please. How many of you agree that we're experiencing a great deal of disruptions? Raise your hands, please. And disruptions are pregnant with possibilities. Many people will agree that we're at a crisis, and crises in the Chinese language means danger, but it also means opportunity. And you are here because your mindset is that regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what's going on, regardless of the fact that we're in what they call the distraction economy, my voice, my story matters, and there are people waiting to hear you. And so you're taking a stand with your life. I have a saying that says, stand up for what you believe in, because you can fall for anything. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on now, bring the energy up. Bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. So I want you to think about your goals and dreams. I want you to think about why you said yes to 3. Yes to developing strong health. Yes to creating wealth. Yes to having a sense of spirituality. I want you to think about the things that you want to do and how you want to move forward with your life, with your goals, with your dream, with your team. And I want you to give Daniel and my very, very good friend, Kim Wee, give her a round of applause. Come on now, bring it out. And Gary and Samson, give them a round of applause, please. Yes. So, I want you to join with me and listen and respond to what I share with you. Let us say together, it's time to dominate.
It's time to dominate.
Say it with power, feeling, and conviction. It's time to dominate.
It's time to dominate.
I heard someone say something that was strong. And what they said was, best known is better than best. There's a philosophical question that if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, did it make a sound? And we have people up here, scientists and doctors, and that's putting their name and their reputation on what we're advancing. And this man, Daniel, and the D stands for dream big. Let us say together, dream big.
Dream big.
How many of you are dreaming big right now? Raise your hands. And so he had this vision that we are part of. We're standing in his dream, and he sought out the best scientists, the most brilliant people on the planet to create products that can help people to improve their health. And what we know is that, as we said the other night, is not what you take, is what you absorb. Let us say, I'm absorbing greatness.
I'm absorbing greatness.
I'm absorbing great health.
I'm absorbing great health.
I have the ability to create wealth. I have spiritual strength
I have spiritual strength
to handle whatever life throws in front of me. I was born in an abandoned building on a floor in Liberty City, a poor section of Miami, Florida. And this is my adopted mother. I always say, all that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. That God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. That's Wesley and I. Which one am I, on the right or your left? Which one? I'm on the left. Yes, I am. He came out 5 minutes earlier than I did. I heard a slap. He made a sound. I said, hey, what's going on? And they pulled me out. So I always tell him, I came here looking out for you. And I'm going to share a story with you in my presentation. Here we are, 78, and for the first time we saw a picture of our birth mother and father. We're going to share that with you. But I want you to think about what's important to you. What was important to me that our adopted mother adopted 7 children. She never had any children herself. And she wanted to share her life with some children. And so Mama adopted us. We were the first, as Wesley and I, eating sugar cane. Anybody ever had sugar cane before? Yeah, sugar cane. And I promised Mama that, Mama, what is it, Leslie, when I become a man, I'm going to take care of you. How many of you have someone that you love, someone that's been there for you, someone that has been your hero like my adopted mother's been for me, that if something happened to them, you'd like to be there for them? Raise your hands, please. Yes. And here's something I believe. It's not where you start, it's where you're going. And most people, and I think there's a reason that we're taught, judge not according to appearances, but righteous judgment. That we were born in poverty. And when I was in the 5th grade, I was labeled educable mentally retarded and put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade. And I failed again in the 8th grade. But I had this high school teacher that was very much like Daniel. I went in his room looking for a friend. And he said, Mr. Brown. I said, yes, sir. I was expecting you. You're MacArthur's friend. I said, yes, sir. He said, I want you to go before the board and I want you to work this problem out for us. And I said, sir, I can't do that. He said, why not? I said, I'm not one of your students. I just wanted to connect with MacArthur. He said, do what I'm asking you to do anyhow. I said, sir, I can't. And then the other students started laughing, saying, he's Leslie. He's got a twin brother, Wesley. Wesley's smart. He's DT. And he asked, what's DT? He's the dumb twin. And they started laughing. And I said, I am, sir. And he came from behind his desk and he looked at me as if Daniel, who would be in the same position, would say. He said, don't ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. How we live our lives is a result of the story we believe about ourselves. And what he did is what you're going to be doing when you talk to people one-on-one, small groups, and large groups. How we live our lives is a result of the story we believe about ourselves. And what he did in that moment, let us say together, distract, dispute, and inspire. When you talk to people about this business, when you talk to people about these products that's superior to anything on the planet, they're asking three questions. Who are you? This is why your story is important. What do you have? And can I believe you? And they want to know, do you believe what you're talking about? They want to know that. And your story, how you convey your story and why you said yes to 3, why you bought into the concept of health, wealth, and spirituality. They want to know this. Because there's so much noise out here. And your story, a lot of people intimidated by artificial intelligence. But artificial intelligence does not have a heart. I want you to write this down. Take some notes I'm going to share with you. Number 1, the people that are most successful and be able to make an impact, make national and global impact, of people who develop the skill to speak from their heart. You have people who shared with you their knowledge, their information, so that you can speak not from a place of what you believe, but from a place of knowing. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free to live a life that will outlive you. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on, bring the energy level up. So this is the time that if you're casual about your dream will end up a casualty in terms of building an organization, in terms of impacting and change people's lives, in terms of helping people to understand their health is their ultimate priority and the ultimate success. Because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. Would you agree with that? Yes. I'm a 4-stage, 39-year prostate cancer conqueror. 4-stage. And I received the Cancer Center's Award of Perseverance. And trust me, it's better to be seen than to be viewed. I'm turning red as I talk about it, but y'all can't see it, all right? And so as you look at yourself and look at your goals, that this is a moment that we must become, as Mother Teresa would say, a pencil in the hand of God and start writing new chapters with our lives. I used to be a disc jockey, and I'm going to share with you how I became a disc jockey. And when I was a disc jockey at that point in time in my life, I enjoyed that very much, and I thought that was all that I could do, and they fired me. Hurt my feelings. Marion White said, in life, and when you don't have enough courage or insight to know that you have outgrown a situation and it's time to move on, life will move on you. And many people are failing today because of the fact that they don't know what they don't know, and they think they know. My newsman, Mike Williams, said to me, Les Brown. I said, yes. He said, man, you can do more than be the morning disc jockey and entertain people. I said, I can? He said, yes. I said, what else can I do? I love making people laugh and making people feel good and coming on the air in the morning and saying, look out, this is me, LB Triple P, Les Brown, the man about town. How many of you ever had someone see something in you that you didn't see in yourself? Raise your hands, please. And so Mike Williams saw this Les Brown before I saw him. And it took me a minute to get there. I want you to write this down. Sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in. When you're talking to someone about being in this business and developing an alignment with you, you want to say to them, I see something in you that right now you don't see in yourself. I'm not looking for everybody. I'm looking for the few. I'm not looking for people who who need more money. I'm looking for people who want more money, people that are hungry, people that are relentless, people that are passionate, people that are unstoppable. That's what I'm looking for. People who want to live a life of impact. How many of you want to live a life of impact? Raise your hands, please. And so Mike changed my vision of myself. This is Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, who started the motivational industry. He wrote a book called The Power of Positive Thinking. I never forget, one of the goals and dreams I had was to open for him. I'm training speakers now, and I got a chance to open for him. I spoke in Illinois, and I was backstage with him, and the newspaper read the next day, the Grand Old Master and the Young Rising Star. And a young guy was backstage, and Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, he was a sharp dude. And the young guy asked, Dr. Peale, how old are you? And Dr. Peale said, Sonny, I'm 92. Young fellow looked him up and down and said, I don't know if I want to live to get 92. And he said, that's because you've never been 91. Dr. Peale was a bad dude indeed. So Mike became my mentor. He wrote a book. It's a book that's worth getting. I wrote the foreword for it, The Road to Your Best Stuff. He took me to a place in myself that I couldn't go by myself, because you can't read the label when you're locked in the box. How many of you know that to be true? Raise your hands. And so when I look at, okay, here we go. So he helped me to learn how to tell my story. And as a result of that, I went from being a disc jockey to a community activist, and I was elected to the Ohio legislature. They said coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. I was elected 3 times. Oh, behave. And I had no idea that I can do that. And so as a result of my being able, as a result of his coaching and being coachable, how many of you are coachable? Raise your hands, please. Your story is your superpower. It made a difference, and I was able to speak with Robert Kiyosaki and so many others, Eckert, and this gentleman here, you know, and the first gentleman, what's his name? Richard Branson. Yeah, I was with him in South Africa. How many of you ever spoken at Harvard University? Raise your hands, please. Well, now, just imagine if I did it, being labeled educable, mental retarded, shake someone's hand on your right or left and say, they're going to be calling me, they're going to be calling me. I've spoken there 4 times. The power of your story. Your story matters. I was, as a result of the coaching and my investing in my communication skills to develop my superpower, which is your superpower, I had a talk show years ago. And they paid me $5 million. In King World, they canceled me after I refused to do a show about fathers who sleep with their 14-year-old daughter's boyfriends. I said, that's not why I'm here. 3 is going to teach you how you can create walk-away money, that you can live a life of integrity. So I walked away. And I received the highest award from the National Speakers Association. I don't say this and share these things to impress you, but to impress upon you, you have something special. You have greatness in you. I remember when I saw Tony Robbins, he had an infomercial called Personal Power. They invested in Tony Robbins over $1 million every hour all around the world. So I sent Gunther Rinker and those guys a video, and it was a VHS. And they said, you got a very inspiring story, but you're black. And we don't believe a black person can motivate people around the world. I sent them back. They didn't have text messages. I sent them a letter and saying, thank you for reminding me that I'm black. I never would have known that if you hadn't told me. So I said, I'll see you from the top. So, Toastmasters, I was among the people that received the Golden Gavel Award, the top 5 speakers on the planet. And I received the highest award from Toastmasters International. And General Norman Schwarzkopf was one of the people that received the award of the top 5 speakers in the world. Leon Coker and Robert Schuller, Paul Harvey, and that guy who was reminded that he's black. Let us say together, it's time to dominate.
It's time to dominate.
And there's something about this, fueling your performance with faith, fueling your performance with being relentless, fueling your performance with a reason that's powerful. Viktor Frankl, in his book called Man's Search for Meaning, he said the people that are able to overcome in just incredible odds in life have a reason. What's your reason? What is it that's going to help you to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, to do the things that you want to do with your life? And my reason was that I wanted to take care of my mother. I wanted to be there. I never forget when my sister called me and said, "Leslie, are you sitting down?" And I asked, "What's wrong with Mama?" And she said, "Mama has breast cancer." I said, "I'll be there." And she said, "No, you don't have to come. They have nice nursing homes in Dade County." I said, "Listen to me. Mama's not going to a nursing home. She raised 7. 7 will be there to take care of her. We can do this. We can do this." And I resigned the next day from the Ohio legislature, flew home, and I never forget when I rang the doorbell, Mama had a friend there named Miss Mildred. You remember Miss Mildred, Wesley? And she came to the door and she said, "Whoa, Leslie." She said, "Mamie, Leslie's here." And Wesley was in Vietnam. But Mama said, "I knew he would come. I knew he would come." How many of you have somebody in your life that has something happened to them? They know you would show up. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Yes. And so when you begin to master your mindset, and I love it, the Pico effect, the possibilities are unlimited as to what you can do. When you think about the goal and objective, the unique purpose of this organization, it's a movement that can transform people's lives, a movement that will help people to begin to take charge of their financial future, a movement that will empower people to understand in order to make it today, you must learn, relearn, and learn again. Because we're in this space, a lot of people are failing because they're coming into a new world order with an old mindset. How many of you know the things in the past that served us won't work for us right now? Raise your hands, please. Won't do it. No. And so when you look at your goals, you have to be passionate. Where your heart is, there your treasure is also. I want you to see the goal that you have identified for yourself. See it already accomplished. I remember, and I told the group the other night, I told Mama I was going to buy her a home. I had a 3x5 car, and I saw a home that I knew my mother would love. And I had a picture of it, and on the flip side, I have Matthew 7:7, "Ask and it shall be given. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be open unto you." And I called a person after finding a name in the Yellow Pages. How many of y'all remember the Yellow Pages? This before Google. The millennials don't know nothing about the Yellow Pages. But listen to this. I just at random picked the name out. Because I saw this house that I wanted, I needed someone to handle the transaction. And the lady who answered the phone, her name, and Wesley, I never told you this, Shirley Bannister. So she picked me up from the airport. We picked Mama up because I came down to Miami and I saw the house. I went back and I said, "I'm gonna get that." And I had a concert, and I had Gladys Knight and the Four Pips. I used to be the conductor of the midnight trains. Yes, indeed. But anyhow, when Mama was in the car and we were driving around and she saw this house, I told Shirley to go down this street. And I said, "I know Mama. I know she's going to love this." And Mama said, "Whoa, ma'am, will you stop?" She said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "If I lived in something like that, I would feel like Mrs. Rockefeller. I said, Mommy, you like that? She said, yes, I like it, Leslie. Look at the fountain in front. Yes, it's beautiful. I said, Shirley, make a U-turn. I know the people that live there. And so she made a U-turn. I went around. After I got out the back seat and I opened the door for Mama, and she held my arm and we're walking toward this big, beautiful house, and she's looking around and she stopped and she asked, Leslie, do you know these people? I said, yes, ma'am, Mama, I do. And I got to the door and I couldn't hold back anymore the anticipation of how she's going to respond to what I had done. I reached my pocket, I put the key in, I turned it, opened the door, and I said, Mrs. Rockefeller, this is your home. And she said, what are you talking about, Leslie? I said, Mama, this is your home. It's fully furnished, everything is paid for. I got this for you. She said, Leslie, you didn't have to do that. I said, Mama, you didn't have to adopt us either, but you did. All the other people who saw birth mother said, I'll take one, not two. And you said, I'll take two. I'll take those twins. And then you adopted 5 others. I said, you deserve this. And I remember when she walked in and she said, thank you, Jesus. Oh, thank you, Lord. I never thought anything like this would happen to me. And she stopped and looked at me and she said, Leslie? I said, yes, ma'am. And you were such a problem child. I said, I know, but I'm rich now. People say money won't make you happy, but everybody want to find out for themselves. I used to be so broke, I walked past the bank and tripped the alarm. I remember creditors called the house, I had my children lying. My daddy say he ain't home. Oh, poverty sucks. Let me tell you something over here. So, let us say together, we are going to dominate.
We are going to dominate.
Everybody speak with power, feeling, and conviction. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be established unto you. We're going to dominate the wellness market.
We're going to dominate the wellness market.
We have super leadership.
We have super leadership.
And so when you look at these individuals, you've got leadership with integrity, leadership with goals and objectives of helping you to begin to expand your vision of yourself and creating a movement that will have lasting impact. How many of you want to live a life that will outlive you? Raise your hands, please. Yes. This is the moment. These individuals, they are the ones that, as we think about where we're going, and you think about the scientists and the doctors that were on the stage and all the other presenters, that now you have in your hands your own future and products that people need. And you're the ones that must tell the story. And so as you think about your goals and dreams, let us say together, you gotta be hungry.
You gotta be hungry.
Let's say it again, you gotta be hungry.
You gotta be hungry.
I had this high school teacher, Mr. Leroy Washington. He said, Mr. Brown. I said, yes, sir. What do you want to do with your life, young man? I said, I want to be able to take care of my mother. I want to buy her home. He said, you got to be hungry. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, people that are hungry are willing to lose. What are you saying to me? Your video's ready. My video's ready? Okay, just a minute. Thank you. I'm ready to go. Thank you. You got too much dip on your chip. He said, the people that are hungry are willing to do the things today others won't do. in order to have the thing tomorrow others won't have. Thank you, Nina. So I want you to see the power of your story. And I want you to think about what your story is. Because your story, and telling your story, and creating an experience for audiences and taking them to a place in themselves when they're in your living room, one-on-one in large groups, your superpower to be able to deliver the message in a noisy world and speaking in a way that people don't just hear you, but they feel you, speaking from your heart into their hearts. So I want to show you the value and the power of your superpower, your story to make an impact on people's lives. Play the video, please.
You have something special. You have greatness in you. I've heard it said that there's some things you can't see looking forward, but you can only see looking backwards. I've been known for speaking and changing people's lives all around the world, using my voice and the ability to tell a story in all types of situations. I often talk about the fact that I'm here because of two women. One gave me life, that's a person that I had never seen. And one gave me love, that's the person here holding me and my twin brother, Mrs. Mamie Brown. God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adoptive mother. And I had no idea, being raised in poverty. We were poor, but we didn't know we were poor. And something in me, I don't know exactly when it happened, but I remember one day when I went to an event and I saw Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. speak in Miami. And I went to see Malcolm X. And I was so moved by their oratorical skills, I said, I want to do that. I was so impressed with Malcolm X that I went to school the next day and said that my name was Leslie X. And the teacher called my mother, Mrs. Mamie Brown, and that was the end of that. She beat that X out of me. But I used my voice as a radio personality. And there was something just kept driving me. I organized demonstrations in Columbus, Ohio, and led demonstrations against police deadly use of force and police brutality that ultimately led to my getting fired in the 70s, and led groups of over 5,000 in the morning in the snow. I became a state representative elected to the Ohio legislature. I was elected 3 terms, the chairman of the Education Committee and Human Resource Committee, passed 14 bills my first term, using my voice. I resigned when my adopted mother was diagnosed with breast cancer and fulfilled my promise that she would never go into a nursing home, and I came back home to take care of her. Using my voice, I became a community activist in Miami, Florida, and once again, fighting against things that were maintaining our detriment, using my voice. I developed a reputation and was invited to speak at Harvard University. I became a compelling speaker and known for telling stories, and selected by the National Speakers Association and given their highest award, the CPAE Award, the Council of Peers of Excellence, using my voice. I received the highest award from Toastmasters International, the Golden Gavel Award. I was selected among the top 5 speakers in the world: General Norman Schwarzkopf, Leon Coker, Robert Schuller, Paul Harvey, and myself. I often wonder, where did I get this from? Is there some things nature and some things nurture? I was paid $5 million to do a talk show, The Les Brown Show. I had no idea. Where did this gift come from? I often thought, did I get it from my father? Or did I get it from my mother? I've spoken on platforms with Richard Branson in South Africa, Robert Kiyosaki, and other top speakers from around the world. And my oldest son went on a search unbeknownst to me, and through some research found my birth parents and discovered that my grandmother, Beulah Rucker, who was a motivational speaker, educator, and she started a school. She taught herself to read and listen. Article said she was hungry to learn. So hungry, she taught herself the alphabet and how to read with newspaper that was used to insulate the walls of the cabin that she stayed in to keep the cold winter air out. And she went to school, and the day that she had to register, she had no money, and she stood before the head of the school and held out both her hands. And when he asked, "Where's your money?" and she said, "These hands can work." And he sent her down the line. And she came back, being persistent, because she was hungry to learn, and said once again, "These hands can work." And he looked at her, and I'm sure there was something in his mind that said, she is not going to be denied. And he let her into school, and she worked for him and other instructors at the school, and she graduated with honors and went back to Gainesville, Georgia, and taught veterans and people in the community, adults and children, how to read, and taught them how to teach others how to read, and taught them how to be hungry to learn. See, this thing called life, if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. But if you're willing to learn, no one can stop you. And they develop all types of skills that will allow them to become entrepreneurs and control their own future. My grandmother. And that which was in her, she obviously passed it on to my mother, Dorothy Bell. And my mother, she was a motivational speaker like her mother. And she traveled all over Georgia and the country speaking, and she played the piano, and she sang, and she had a bubbly personality, and she loved helping people. I wondered where I got this gift from, and now I know. And so my oldest son, unbeknownst to me, went on a search for his grandparents, and he found them, pictures of them. And I talked to a brother that I did not know I had, and went to the Beulah Rucker Museum, my grandmother. I called him and I said, "Dorothy Bell is my mother." And he said, "Well, that's my mother too, so that makes us brothers." And I went there to visit him, and I got to the museum first. And all I could say to myself was, I found them, and now I know why I'm who I am, where I came from, and where I got my voice from. Oh, I feel like Mother Teresa, who said, just when I thought I got a handle on life, the handle broke. This discovery opened up a whole new world for me. To God be the glory.
shot. Being here with you today in this dome in Atlanta, it's a long shot. No college training, labeled educable, mentally retarded, but I kept running toward my dream. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop running toward your dream.
Thank you. Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, the world needs your voice and your story. Do that right now, please. The world needs your voice and your story. And let us say together, 3 will make a difference. Creating health, wealth, and spirituality. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on, bring the energy level up. So when Mr. Washington said to me, what do I want to do with my life? I said, I want to buy my mother a home. And he said, how are you going to do that? I said, if I can become a disc jockey. And he told me to listen to Paul Harvey, who had a program called The Rest of the Story. He said, if you want to be successful at something, he said, you want to find someone who's doing that on your level and be coached by them, learn from them. And so I did that. I listened to him, and then I found someone to coach me in how to develop my voice and to tell my story. And what I'm excited about is that I'm going to get a chance to work with you. And how many of you have a story to tell? Raise your hands, please. How many of you have gone through some stuff and you learned some things and it changed your life and you want to change other people's lives and help them to create a legacy? Raise your hands, please. Yes, and so I'm excited that I get to work with you and Kim and all of the people that have said yes to this incredible opportunity. My children are involved in 3. And I'm getting my grandchildren involved in 3. So when I told Mr. Washington that I wanted to be a disc jockey, repeat after me, please. Relationships matter. Relationships matter. So he said, listen, he said, I trained Milton Butterball Smith at WMBF radio station. Here's my card. Tell him that I sent you. Tell him you want to become a disc jockey and I recommend you. And I said, yes, sir, I will. So I went to WMBM radio station on Miami Beach. I said, hello, Mr. Butterball, how are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I'd like to be a disc jockey. Mr. Dwight Washington sent me to you. He asked me, do you have any experience in broadcasting? I said, no, sir. Do you have any journalism? I said, no, sir. But I've been practicing, sir. I said, give me a chance to audition for you. He said, no. How many of you have ever been rejected? Raise your hands, please. I was devastated. I said, wow. I went back and I said, Mr. Washington. He said, no. He said, Mr. Brown, if you want to become successful, you got to be hungry. I said, what do you mean by that? People that are hungry are relentless. People that are hungry are unstoppable. People that are hungry believe, always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. You got to be hungry. I said, I'm hungry, sir. I'm hungry. And I went back again. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, and I would like to be a disc jockey. He said, I know what your name is. Weren't you here yesterday? I said, yes, sir. Didn't I tell you no yesterday? I said, yes, sir. He said, why are you back today? I said, sir, I didn't know whether or not somebody was laid off or somebody was fired. He said, nobody was laid off or fired. Now, get on out of here. I came back the next day, talking loud, looking happy, like I'm seeing you for the first time. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I like to be a disc jockey. He said, I know what your name is. Weren't you here the last 2 days? I said, yes, sir. Didn't I tell you no the last 2 days? I said, yes, sir. He said, then why are you back today? I said, sir, I didn't know whether or not someone got sick or someone died, sir. No one got sick or died. No one was laid off or fired. Now, don't you come back here again. I came back the next day. Talking loud, looking happy like I'm seeing you for the first time. I said, hello, Mr. Butterball, how are you? He looked at me with rage. He said, go get me some coffee. I said, yes, sir. My favorite book says, the greatest among you will be your servant. You must serve people. A lot of people are speaking to sell. Speak to serve. The greatest among you will be your servant. People can smell downline breath and commission breath. They can smell it. And so I became the errand boy for the disc jockeys. I'd go get their lunch and their dinner and stand in the control room watching them working their hands on the control board. I'm encouraging you to watch the top performers in 3 because success leaves clues. I would pick up entertainers that came to town and I would drive them all over Miami Beach for the disc jockeys in their big long Cadillacs. I didn't have any driver's license, but I'll drive it like I had some. And then one day, it was a Saturday afternoon, and a disc jockey by the name of Rockin' Roger was drinking while he was on the air. And Rockin' Roger got so drunk he began to slur his words. It was a Saturday afternoon, and I was the only one there. I knew he could not finish that show. And I was walking back and forth saying, drink, Rock, drink. Drink, Rock. I'd have gone to get him some more if he'd asked me to. And then pretty soon the phone rang with the general manager. I said, hello? He said, young boy, this is Mr. Klein. I said, yes, sir, I know. He said, Rock can't finish his program. I said, I know. He said, would you call one of the other DJs and tell him to come in? I said, yes, sir. I hung up the phone and I said to myself, he must be thinking I'm crazy. I called my mama and my girlfriend Cassandra. I said, y'all come out on the front porch and turn up the radio. I'm about to come on the air. I called him back and I said, Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody. He said, young boy, you're not working shows? I said, yes, sir. See, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. I said, yes, sir, I do. He said, okay, go in there and take Rock out of the studio, but don't you say nothing here. I said, yes, sir. I got old Rock out of the way. I said, look out, this is me, LB Triple P, Les Brown, your platter playing papa. There were none before me and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single and love to mingle, certified, bona fide, indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry. Shakes one hand on your right and left and say, I'm hungry. Do that right now, please.
I am hungry. Come on.
People that are hungry are relentless. People that are hungry know that pressure, as Kim said, is a privilege. People that are hungry believe, always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. People that are hungry don't allow themselves to be intimidated and fearful. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power and of love and of sound mind. You have something special. You have greatness in you. And I like to leave this with you that my mother used to love me to say for her. And I dedicate this to you, the dream in your heart and the difference that you're going to make, the lives that you're going to touch, and the legacy that you're going to build. Leslie, yes ma'am, mama. Say that thing for me, boy, that makes me feel good. Yes ma'am, mama, I will. If you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it, and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famish, or goal, sickness or pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, with the help of God, you'll get it. Listen to me. This is your moment. This is your time. Let us say together, health,
Health.
wealth,
Wealth.
spiritual strength.
Spiritual strength.
It's our time
It's our time
to motivate
to motivate
and inspire the world.
and inspire the world.
That's our story. We're sticking to it. Bye for now.
Give Les a big hand. Guess who's joined Les on stage? Superman. Les, we want to honor you. Thank you for being with us here today. I know there was a lot of lives touched. I know it wasn't easy to get here. And I want to honor your brother again for his service to this country. Give Wesley a big hand. Over 2 decades of service and honor to this amazing country. So thank you. It's been a pleasure to get to know you just a little bit the last couple of days and spend some time with you. You're a first-class guy. You're lucky to have a brother that loves you so much. It's a beautiful thing. It's been an honor to have you here. I know how close you and Kim are, and I know this community is so excited. It's an honor to have your children and grandchildren in 3. Give Les another hand. Thank you.